Etched on a granite wall below a grave at Arlington National Cemetery, one can read the following words. And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. My fellow citizens of the world, ask not what America can do for you, but what together we can do for the freedom of man. John Fitzgerald Kennedy was born in Brookline, Massachusetts on May 29, 1917. Jack, as he was often called, was the second child of Joseph and Rose Kennedy. And together his parents raised 9 children. He attended Harvard University, where he graduated with honors. In World War II, he served in the Navy on command of DC-109. When the ship was sunk, he risked his life to save his crew. Serving his country helped shape his thoughts on the future of America's right to defend its freedom. Let every nation know whether it wishes us well or ill, that we shall pay any price, bear any burden, in any hardship, support any friend, cause any foes, assure the survival and the success of liberty. But the world goes forward from this time and place. Friends and coalition, more than praise to a new generation of Americans. JFK was the youngest man elected to the office of president. He was the first Boy Scout to become president. John Kennedy was the first Roman Catholic president. He was the first president that served in the Navy and the first to have earned a Purple Heart. The main challenges of his term in office were conflicts with Cuba, Russia, Vietnam, the Mafia, and concerns regarding civil rights. Hear the words of newly elected President Kennedy as he prepared to face the uncertainty of what would surely become his lasting legacy. In the long history of the world, only a few generations have been granted the role of defending freedom in its hour of maximum danger. I do not shrink from this responsibility. I welcome it. President Kennedy was an ardent supporter of the civil rights movement. He, along with noted activist Martin Luther King, worked long and hard to help bring about positive change. On June 11, 1963, he addressed the nation and proclaimed the following thoughts. This nation was founded by men of many nations and backgrounds. It was founded on the principle that all men are created equal, and that the rights of every man are diminished or the rights of one man are threatened. I am, therefore, asking that Congress to enact legislation giving all Americans the right to serve in facilities which are open to the public. Hotels, restaurants, theaters, retail stores, and similar establishments. This seems to me to be an elementary right. Its denial is an arbitrary indignity that no American in 1963 should have to endure. In the fall of 1963, President Kennedy turned his attention to his re-election campaign and decided that a trip to visit the South was long overdue. With First Lady Jacqueline by his side, he embarked on a 2-day trip that would take him to 5 major cities in the heartland of Texas. On the morning of November 22, 1963, motorcade and political dignitaries traveled along a 10-mile route that wound through downtown Dallas. Since the earlier rain had stopped, the plastic bubble on top of the presidential limousine was removed. Overflow crowds excited people lined the streets and waved frantically to the Kennedys. At approximately 12:30 p.m., the car turned off Main Street. As he was passing the Texas School Book Depository, gunfire suddenly rang out in the plaza. Let us reflect on the events of that day and remember that life as we knew it was about to be changed. fire that struck the president, causing him to slump over toward Mrs. Kennedy. The limousine sped off to Parkland Memorial Hospital, located just a few minutes away. However, doctors could do little to save him. A Catholic priest was summoned to administer the last rites at 1 p.m. John F. Kennedy, the 35th President of the United States, was pronounced dead. For 4 days, the world stood still while people from all walks of life mourned the loss of their beloved JFK. On November 25th, he was laid to rest. As people struggled to make sense of his senseless act and to articulate their feelings about his life and legacy, many recalled these words of his inaugural address. With a good conscience, our only sure reward. History, the final judge of our deeds. Let us go forth to lead the land we love, asking for his blessing and his help, but knowing that here on earth, God's work must truly be our own.
Good afternoon again. I'd like just to take a moment to say a few thank yous. First, we're going to start off with the Brooklyn Salute to Music staff. I'd like to first thank David Sider. Mr. Sider, please step up, thank you. I want to thank Steve Borough-Wide. So I mentioned before that I am the project director of the Salute to Music program, so I'll talk about that first. So the Salute to Music program is the New York City public school side of the program. So I'd like to acknowledge Paul King, who is the executive director of the arts, and Barbara Murray, who's the director of music, who are funding this program. And you can see in the program there are notes when the program began and its mission. So I'd like to thank those two people for funding the program. And my other hat that I wear is being on the board of directors for the Friends of Music. And I also would like to acknowledge another board member that's with us today, Barbara Cipriano, who's in the back. Thank you, Barbara. And this is the nonprofit side of the program. And again, you can read about that in your printed program that you have. But the proceeds from today's concert funds a very important endeavor that the Friends of Music has taken on for a very long time. And that is sponsoring a concert at Carnegie Hall that is done on a rotating basis. And, you know, they say Carnegie Hall, the way to get there is to practice, practice, practice. But, you know, if you want to use the hall, it also takes a lot of money as well on top of practice. So the proceeds that we're collecting today help go to that, and we thank you for that. So at this time, I'm pleased to announce that in June 4th of 2015, Brooklyn will be one of the sites that will be going to Carnegie Hall next year. So, how many of our 8th graders did the Carnegie Hall last year? How many performed last year? All right, thank you. So we hope that next year you join the Old City High School music program. And if you go to the DOE website and you look up the arts, you will find the Old City program. But for our 7th and 6th graders that are on stage, we hope that you return to us next year so that you can partake in the concert at the hall. Also, I want to thank parents, the parents that are with us today. This was an interesting school year. And a number of our sites were affected by construction that is taking place across New York City regarding lighting systems. And there has been construction taking place at Marine Park Intermediate School now for quite a few months. So we thank you for your cooperation in making the shift here to Madison High School. And on that end, I'd like to thank Madison High School for allowing us to use their space these last few weeks and for today's concert. So I'd like to acknowledge Jody Cohen, who's the principal, Jose Noah, who is the APO here. Both were a great help. I'd like to acknowledge the 2 band directors of the school, James Tribendis and Mike Novellis, who actually ended up working with the students a number of the weeks. I'd like to thank George Wilson, who's been helping us today with the sound and lighting. As well as the school's custodians and school safety. So, very, very thankful that Madison was able to help us in our time of need. All right, students, I'd like to thank you. You know, you got up every Saturday morning. You must be part of the short form for a reason. You're pursuing something that has a lot of value. Okay, and I'm not going to get into all those things, but I want to thank you for coming every Saturday, being flexible and coming here, and thank you for getting the most out of this program. All right, so at this time, I'm going to reintroduce Mr. Lyota, and I believe we're going to finish the concert. Thank you again.